starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to yet another episode of Champions Belt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Davis, and I'm here with my good friend, my brother from another mother, Mr. Tony T. Tony Thorpe. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. How are you? How is
Good,
your
my friend.
Canada Day?
Pretty good, man. It was a rainy weekend here in Canada. We got all that rain that came up from the from the U.S. up the seaboard, and it's been raining here for about 10 days straight. So we're ready to see the end of that for sure. Man,
it's brutal.
Noah's got nothing on us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Man, we have a very special guest this evening. Would you like to say, sort of introduce our guest for us?
Nah, you can do it.
All right. This is a good friend. This is a good friend of ours, good friend of the show, great guy in the hobby. He's a co-founder and co-host of the Bells and Belts podcast. And he's a hell of a great guy, and we're thrilled to have him join us tonight. We have none other than Mr. Man Up. Welcome to the show, Man Up. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. How y'all doing today?
We're doing good, my friend. Glad to have you here. Happy to have you join us for the night. Have a little chat about some wrestling. We like to cover a little bit about what's going on now and a little bit of what happened before.
Yeah.
Let's just check in with our viewers and see how everybody's doing this evening. Hey, Scott. Welcome, my friend. How's it going? Mr. Joey Gray, one of the other founders and co-hosts of Bells and Belts podcast, and also a great admin over at Jagu Belts, Jagu John. So thanks for joining us, Joey. Happy Canada Day to you, my friend, as well. Welcome again. Hey, Facebook user, how you doing? If you let StreamYard see your, if you click on the StreamYard link, it will be able to see your account, and then we'll be able to see who you are. But welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Jason, what you keep calling it Steam when it's StreamYard?
StreamYard. I am wrong. Not SteamYard. StreamYard.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Don't count. Yeah, Steam will get you some good games though.
Yep, there you are. Correct.
There's Joey. This guy. That's right. That's right.
See, I would have screwed that intro up, Jason. That's why.
Right? That's why nobody clicks on it. Is that why nobody clicks on it? Am I blowing it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Steam is video games. StreamYard is the podcast software. So if you click StreamYard, that will let us see your information.
Cedric.
I'm taking side bets to see how long it takes for Man Up to be wrong.
That's my partner right there. That's my other tag team partner.
That's your other tag team partner. Right on. All right. And everybody had a good week, having a good week so far, my friend?
Can't complain. Could be worse, so I am blessed.
There you go. All right. Well, without further ado, why don't we get into a little bit of what's been happening in wrestling currently and maybe a little bit of what happened before. All right. So we had a pretty big weekend of pay-per-view this week. We had the WWE's Money in the Bank over in the UK, in London, England, and we had a few feature matches this go around. We of course had the Cody Rhodes versus Dominique. We had the Women's WWE Tag Team Championship on the line. We had the Intercontinental Championship on the line with Gunther and with the Bro. And we had, of course, Seth and Finn contesting for the World Heavyweight title. We had the female or women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And then, of course, we had the continuation of the Bloodline Civil War is what they're calling it now. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa against the Usos. I don't know. What'd you guys think? Did you get a chance to check out any of the matches this weekend? What'd you think?
I saw some of the highlights, and
nice.
I like what I saw. I didn't watch the actual pay-per-view, but I saw some of the highlights, and I like what I saw.
Right on. Scott says, I do so many of these podcasts, my comments, so show my comments. Yeah, his comments are shown. What were you going to say, Tony?
I missed it. I didn't get to watch it. Kind of wish I had, but yeah.
Yeah, he said
that comment great. Sorry.
Go for it, brother.
That comment right there, London was on fire from what I saw.
Yeah, great crowd. Really added to the pay-per-view. They were into it big time, and that made all the difference in the world for sure. Some great matches. Some decent matches. There were some good matches. There was, it's what we kind of expect from the WWE pay-per-view. We got a couple of really hot matches, and then a couple of not so hot matches, and that's often the way these go. Our first matchup of the night was actually the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. A lot of people were expecting LA Knight to go over in the match. That was sort of the popular opinion in a lot of the dirt sheets and a lot of the fan polls. And just behind him, a lot of other people also were expecting that Logan Paul might maybe go forward on it. So good. I watched it twice. Scott thought right on.
Nice.
Surprisingly, they went with Damian Priest. Damian Priest went over and took the match at the very end. And LA Knight did not go over. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got planned for LA Knight.
Now, I think the only reason why he won is because there has been rumors ever since what's that backlash that was in Puerto Rico, I think that was. Mm-hmm. There has been rumors that since he had a good match and he's been doing good, never complained or nothing like that, they said that he felt like it was his time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey? Yeah, absolutely. I don't have an issue with Damian Priest going over at all. I think he's had a hell of a year. I think he's been a workhorse for them and for the company. I think let's see. Was sad LA Knight didn't get that case, but Priest will do good. Yeah, I agree. I think Priest has been a real workhorse for them. I think like when it comes to celebrity matches and trying to get people over, he's been their go-to guy over the last year. Mm-hmm. He's been definitely a workhorse. So I think he definitely deserves it, and I think LA Knight is still on the build. I think they're gonna try and roll him into something pretty big. So,
you can see it. They were talking about it. I saw something online about a WrestleMania event, LA Knight having something happen there possibly. So we'll see. We'll see. So
absolutely. Directly following this matchup, we had the Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, and Raquel tag team match. Surprisingly, just because they've been writing Rousey and Baszler as such dominant champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel went over with a heel change. We had a flip at the end of the match. Baszler turned on Rousey and attacked her at the end of the match. So there's this now obviously they're breaking this team up. It's since come out since the pay-per-view that Rousey is actually on her way out of the company again for an extended leave or extended break. And so having her flip on her is probably all part of that.
Okay. I just gotta say congratulations to my fellow Texan Raquel. So, hey.
Yeah. Hey, Nor, how you doing, buddy? So Nor's here from Malaysia. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We love having you on. So now we have new women's tag team champions. Directly following that was the Gunther and the Riddle match. Decent match, really good. Gunther continues to show a lot of versatility in his work style and what he can do. They're able to put him with pretty much anybody, and that guy can carry off a really decent match. They both got a lot of good. They both got to show off a lot of good technical work in the match. They did a nice job of infusing a little MMA sort of style submission and technical wrestling into it, which made it kind of interesting. And then, of course, we had the not that surprising, shocking return of Drew McIntyre, just because it was in England. We saw Drew McIntyre come back and challenge for the Intercontinental title. Yeah, it's already 4th of July there for Nora. Well, happy 4th of July, my friend. So yeah, we had the return of Drew McIntyre, which I know is a favorite of yours, Tony. What do you think?
I think it's good. I didn't get to see it. Like I said, I missed the pay-per-view, but
no problem.
I can see that makes sense booking him there. The pop he would have got, being in Britain, even though he is Scottish, but you know what? They probably gave him the pop.
Big, huge. He was over big time big, for sure. It was a huge pop coming back, and it's a logical continuation of the storyline from WrestleMania with the trio match with he and Sheamus and Gunther. So it seems logical. And then we had, of course, the Cody Rhodes and the Dominic matchup, and not surprisingly, Cody was pretty dominant. It was a pretty clean win in the middle of the ring. It was. Let's just hope the Priest can make a successful cash in the near future. As for the Baszler flip, she can move on to good singles matches. I feel Gunther will love in the long run to Drew, and they should best of 7 for the IC would be epic. Oh, looking for a best of 7. Yeah, I could see a good match. I think Gunther and he will have some pretty good matches. I think good Gunther would be a good partner for him. So yeah, not a big surprise with the Cody Rhodes match. We went on to the women's Money in the Bank match. Io Sky went over as the winner of the women's title. She handcuffed Bailey to Becky Lynch to be able to climb over them and grab the case at the top of the ladder. There was a little bit of flip-flopping betrayal going on between Bailey and Io throughout the whole match, so there's definitely some seeds being sown for that faction to splinter apart over the title shot. So that'll be interesting to see where they go with that in the coming week or coming couple of weeks. So that was a very interesting one. And then right after that match, we had the World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth Rollins ended up defeating Finn Balor. Right within the context of that match, Priest distracted Balor when he was on the top of the ropes. He was just about to come down for the coup de grace, and might have possibly won the championship if Priest hadn't distracted him. So they're definitely already starting to show yet another possible fragmentation or split up, which I know, Tony, you're a big fan of how they like to break up. And I'm saying that sarcastically, how they like to break up these factions quickly. So it doesn't look like there's going to be much. I don't know how much longer we're going to see that faction stick together. And then our final match of the evening was, of course, the continuation of the Civil War storyline between the Usos and Roman Reigns and Sikoa. Surprisingly, or perhaps not surprisingly to some people, the Usos went over cleanly in the middle of the ring. They super kicked him, and Roman was pinned for the very first time since December 15th, 2019. 1,294 consecutive days without being pinned. Yeah. So the last wrestler to pin him was Baron Corbin on December 15th, 2019. 1,294 days ago. So he has now officially been pinned.
I put this in the group that me and Cedric and Joey's in. I said the first time Roman ever got pinned was by Jey Uso, and he just got pinned again by Jey Uso.
There's an interesting full circle as well. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll be interested to see where we go with this. I'm not sure where they're going with. There's all kinds of rumors of other members of the Samoan bloodline coming into the WWE to replace the Usos, and that they may be adding some members. It'll be interesting to see how that goes over the coming months or years, whether this is going to be if the bloodline storyline ends now, or if they continue it well into WrestleMania and bring in a few new players. Should be interesting to see. So that was that pay-per-view. Some interesting matchups for sure. A couple of really good ones. Definitely recommend the Gunther matchup. I thought that was quite a good matchup. I thought the men's ladder match and women's ladder match was pretty decent for what it is. It's obviously a gimmick match, and a lot of that style. And the Balor Rollins match was really pretty decent too. So definitely worth checking out if you're interested. Following up, the other big thing that's been happening in wrestling in terms of sort of events is, of course, the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. We have CM Punk went up against Kojima during Forbidden Door. CM Punk went ahead on that one. We have Roderick Strong went up against Samoa Joe this past episode of Collision, as did Dusty Rhodes against Powerhouse Hobbs. And we had Juice Robinson going up against Ricky Starks. We now have the semifinals decided. We have CM Punk going up against Samoa Joe in the semifinals. We have Powerhouse Hobbs going up against Ricky Stark in the semifinals. And of course, then the winner of those two semifinal matchups will be our final matchup players for the winner. Any guesses on who you think might go forward in this and end up being our final, just a guess, who might be the final winner of this year's Owen Hart Foundation winner for the men?
I'm going to go ahead and say CM Punk.
You think they're going to put it on Punk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of his namesake.
Yeah.
I
see CM Punk winning it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm wondering also too. I'm kind of wondering if they don't drop it on Ricky Starks, just because he's been on a losing streak for quite a while. Punk or Joe, Scott says. I wonder about Ricky Starks. He was on a bit of a loss streak through the early part of the year. He's definitely one of their up and coming guys. He definitely could use it the most, probably, out of this group, other than obviously Hobbs could use it as well, but Ricky could really use it to sort of get him into that, catapult him into that next level. So whereas obviously CM Punk and Samoa Joe don't need it that much, but it'll be interesting. I'm not quite sure I understand how they're using this tournament right now. I can't tell if they're using this to push guys or if it's just an acknowledgement of sort of a great career acknowledgement for people that are a little further along in their career. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. This tournament will give us a better sense of how they plan to sort of use the belt and use the tournament to sort of promote people or push people. Yeah, Starks could use the robe. So interesting. It'll be interesting to see. In the women's tournament, we had Britt Baker, who won last year, going up against Ruby Soho. That match was canceled. It was supposed to happen this past week, but Britt Baker had the same flu that her I don't know, are they fiancés now? I don't know if they're, yeah, I think so. Adam Cole was out with a flu. So
Wow.
She's obviously caught the same flu, and she was out and missed the match. Anna Jay wrestled against Sky Blue. We had Nyla Rose going up against Willow Nightingale, and we had Athena going against Billy Starks. In those matchups already, Sky Blue has beaten Anna Jay. Willow Nightingale, which is the young woman that just recently won the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong title, that new belt that was released a couple of weeks ago. And Athena, Ring of Honor beat Billy Stark. Athena's doing some great work over in Ring of Honor. If people haven't had a chance to check out some of her work over there, she's doing some really, really great stuff. So happy to see her go forward. So we're still going to wait to see what happens with the Britt Baker-Ruby Soho matchup. But of course, same idea. We will go into the semifinals and then the finals. Any guesses on who you think might go forward with this again? Do they put it on Baker again this year? Do they go with a new wrestler? Who do you think is going to come forward? So your options are Ruby or Britt, Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale or Athena? Who do you think is taking it this year?
I'm gonna say Athena.
Yeah, I think Athena too.
I'd love to see Athena win it. I think she really deserves it. I think she's been putting on some of the better matches, certainly under the envelope of AEW Ring of Honor. So it'd be great if she did. Again, it'll be interesting to see how they decide to treat the tournament. I can't, still early to tell yet whether this is more sort of a pat on the back for popularity or whether or not they're actually going to use this as a way to build people.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Like it.
Right on. All right. I thought since we like to cover a little bit of what's been going on currently in wrestling, it's also always fun to sort of talk about what may have happened in the past on this particular day. So on this particular day in wrestling history, July 3rd, we've had 3 sort of significant events take place over the years. The first significant event that took place, and perhaps maybe one of the most significant events that took place, was on 1991 during the WCW Great American Bash Tour held in Rutherford, New Jersey. Mr. Jim Herd went on air and stripped Ric Flair of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship due to contractual disputes.
Yeah. Okay.
Which most certainly did affect the course of wrestling, contemporary modern wrestling history for sure.
Yes.
On this date in 1994, July 3rd, at a taping of the WWF Superstars in Ocean City, Maryland, Bret Hart was defeated by Bob Backlund to retain the WWF Championship. After the match, Backlund shook Hart's hands and then slapped him, and locked on the cross-faced chicken wing, turning heel in the process. Pretty momentous account for Backlund, who had never played heel in his entire career up to that point. So the first time Backlund was acting or working as a heel wrestler. And then, of course, on this date, July 3rd, 2001, at a taping of the WWF SmackDown in Tacoma, Washington, Billy Kidman defeated Shane Helms to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, which makes it the very first time a WCW title changed hands in a WWF ring. Not the last, but the first one to change hands. Any significant memories for you guys on those 3 events?
The Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Crossface chicken wing. I agree with you. I was like, I mean, at that point, I wasn't too familiar with Bob Backlund. I knew who he was, don't get me wrong. But his career, I wasn't too familiar at that particular moment. Let me clarify that. So when he went heel, I was like, huh? Because I've always seen him as a face. So, but yeah, the Bob Backlund one is the one that the memory for me.
Awesome. What about you, Tony?
Me too, Bob Backlund. And it was funny because I mentioned on the last episode or a couple back, I had the belt that had all the names on it, and I forgot Bob Backlund was that wrestler from the 70s when he was wrestling. I hated him. And then my friend was like, hey, he was a champ. And I was like, wait, what? This is his second title. And I was like, hang on. I totally had like this. I thought they were 2 separate guys almost. It was just like wild. And I hated him so much when he beat Bret. I was just like, this guy's the worst.
So what you're saying is he did a great job.
Oh, he did an awesome job. And then it's funny, years later, as I was like, I've always heard of Superstar Billy Graham, and I really like Superstar. And to find out that's who he had to drop the belt to, I was like, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Right for Bob Backlund.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Awesome. Hell of a worker.
So that concludes that section of our evening. I thought we'd move on next to Belt of the Week and maybe bring out a few goodies for everybody to see that's watching. Awesome. So we Man Up is a pretty prolific collector. He has got a pretty amazing collection of belts. One thing that Man Up's kind of really known for is his amazing collection of custom titles and custom championships, I would say. And Tony also you're no slouch in this department yourself. You have a few pretty amazing custom championships as well. And I thought tonight would be a great opportunity to maybe highlight another end of the hobby that maybe people aren't as familiar with, which is custom creation and custom championship collecting, which is, I think, pretty awesome. So who wants to go first?
Tony can go first. Tony can go first.
Okay.
Tony's going first. Awesome. All right.
I was gonna let you go first because you're the guest, but so here is my custom AEW heavyweight championship. Now, back when I designed this belt, they only had one title. They had the main title. That was it. I had this one made by Muhammad Arham.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is.
He did a really good job. The leather's really nice on this too. There's a few different belt influences in this belt. The side plates were influenced by the big gold.
Nice.
The main plate was influenced by the TNA Wildcat, and I put floral pattern in it to look like the big gold, and the lacing was to represent the NWA 10 pounds of gold, to sort of link those to the AEW.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love that red and white lacing too.
Me too. That is nice.
Seeing how it was Canada Day just the other day, I figured this would be a nice one to bring out.
Nice. And so where did you get your inspiration for some of the artwork on that, Tony? Like from the center plate and from the side plates and that?
There was I was looking online at a couple belts I see made. I like the TNA Wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this, if you look at the design, it's the same almost design as the TNA title. Like I said, I like the big gold, so I wanted the floral pattern inside it. And the relief bars.
Joey's telling you that he's never seen that one. It's an awesome design.
Yeah.
That is nice. That is
Scott. Nice. Scott says that's fire.
I put this on Twitter, and MJF tweeted it back.
Nice.
In the early days, he retweeted it.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. And these little side plates are actually the round ones were sort of similar to what the WWE had on one of their titles. So I kind of stole that from them just to add another little side plate. So
right on.
Yeah,
that's a beauty.
It's got the Swarovski gems in it, whatever they're called. So if I turn the other light off and just caught this light, you'd see them really pop.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
I don't know if my belt gonna beat that one.
Yours is a pretty impressive belt, my friend. So one of many, but this, I love this belt. I think I haven't seen this anywhere else, so I love this concept.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice.
Kebby says the Canadian AEW is just missing a donaire on side plates.
You might inspire AEW to do something. That's nice. That is a nice belt, man.
I tweeted it to Jericho. I tweeted it to a bunch of to Kenny Omega, Christian Cage. I tweeted a couple of them saying but you never know. Who knows?
You never know.
Never hurts.
Might not. You never know.
Yeah. Right on. All right, Man Up, you're up, sir. What did you bring for us?
I mean, I don't know if I
had a drum roll, I'd hit it right now.
I
don't know if I could beat him, but I think I got the very first one from a video game. I'm trying to remember exactly. I know I said it was 2K10, but it might be 12 or 13 or whatever. So don't quote me on that. I just can't remember exactly which one.
Right on.
But here go mine. Mine come from 2K10. It's the Champion of Champions.
Nice.
And it kind of looked like the Andre 87. Yeah, Andre 87.
Let me get this full screen. I'm messing up here. I'm blowing here. Give me a sec here.
Okay.
That's weird. Why won't let me make you go full screen? That's odd.
Okay.
I want to make it go full screen. Come on now. So there we go. Gotcha. Okay. There you go. There we go. Everybody at home's like, come on, dude, get closer. Sorry, guys.
All right. See, mine is the Champion of Champions. It has Raw, SmackDown, NXT, even on the side plates. All the side plates are identical, except for the outer side plates. It's a little bit smaller than the inners. But I'm trying to get a little closer to my screen.
Nice.
Light glare. See, no matter what show you go to, you could take this belt. Raw, SmackDown, or NXT.
I like it, man.
That
I
is
like it.
Yep.
That's very.
SmackDown versus Raw memories, Nora says. Absolutely.
Okay.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that I don't quote me. I forgot, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But yeah,
Scott says
there are other versions of this belt where it's not NXT. It's ECW. And they got side plays from like they had the big gold, they have the wing eagle, they have the big eagle, and today's WWE other side plate on this side. But I decided to make it look like this because I thought this version looked a lot better.
I love it. I think that's awesome.
How Triple H like to say he the king of kings? Well, with this belt, you're the champion of champions.
I love it, man, because those to be able to get those. Oh, here we go. SmackDown vs. Raw was ECW version. That's right. Nora's remembering. Yeah. I love the symmetry that you're able to still get on that because those logos are very, very different. They're very different style fonts and very different style lettering. But there's a really nice symmetry to that. Really nice balance. It looks great.
Yeah.
Really nice job. Yeah. So when you're doing a belt like that, Man Up, and you're working with a maker, is that a Jagu belt or is that
most of my belts, not all of them, but most of my belts came from Jagu.
Right on.
And I sent him a ton of ideas right off the bat.
Well, I was just going to say that because it might be really interesting for people watching who are kind of new to the belt hobby or new to the concept of creating a belt, kind of what the process is in terms of. So first thing you got to do is go and get yourself a really good maker, a legitimate maker, somebody that knows what they're doing, that has been doing this for a while and has the skill set to be able to bring your imagination to life, obviously. So that goes without saying. But then what kind of goes in? What's involved in sort of creating your own title?
But see, and then another thing I like to tell people: make sure you send your maker from belt tip to belt tip what you want. If you don't have the actual strap, make sure you send all the plates that you want, the sizes, all of that good stuff. Because if you just send a picture and say, make this, they're just going off of a picture. Me and Joe and Cedric talk about this a lot. They're just going off of a picture. And you might want a certain size and it don't come out that size. So you got to make sure you give them all the information that you want.
So specifics are key. Yeah, really got to know. You got to really know what you want, and you got to be very specific about size, dimensions, font, design style, artwork, all of that stuff. You have to be really, 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 really specific. And obviously, communication is always a bit of a challenge when you're dealing with overseas makers. So being able to have a good communication with the person you're working with is obviously a really good idea as well. Any other hints or sort of suggestions on sort of getting your artwork to look the way you want it to look?
Me personally, I would just say before you send it up to a maker, you look at it exactly. Try to take your own lens out of it, if that makes sense. I'm wording it, and try to look at it from how the maker's going to look at it and go from there. Because you can look at it and say, oh, this is nice. I want it like this, like this, like this. But your maker might see it a different way. So try to take your own lens out of it and try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Right.
Especially the guy that's going to make it. And then go from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
I learned, I made a mistake. I had a custom Canadian belt made, and the guy spelled it Candanian. He left an A out. But
Candanian.
I was so excited when I got the belt or when I got the artwork. I was like, oh yeah, it looks great. I didn't take my time. I didn't take the time to really look at the details of what
the process is really crucial. Like going in the back and forth conversations, and they're giving you your various updates and things. It's really important to pay attention to those.
So I actually went back to him and said, well, I need you to fix this. Like, can you make me a relief banner? You can JB weld it on it, whatever, right? Or adhesive on to keep it on. Like, we'll figure out a way to get this on. And he wouldn't do it. I can't even remember who that maker was, but he was long gone from working with me. But it was a shame because you get you this is your baby. You customize a belt. You send in the artwork and they go and butcher it like that. So
good evening, Mr. Ben Walker. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here.
Ben, my main man.
Yeah, I don't know if Ben got a chance to see those two belts. He was late for a minute. You guys want to hold those up just to sort of show off your belts? Is it too heavy? Those are heavy belts, man.
Yeah, mine is a little heavy, but I got it.
There you go, Ben. We're talking about custom belts tonight. Ben talking about these, and Tony and Man Up were nice enough to bring in a few customs this evening and show them off to everybody at home. Here's a good shot of Man Up's. Nice. And here's a good shot of Tony's. Very nice. EW Canadian style belt. Awesome. So that's all really good information for everybody hanging out with us tonight, checking out. Where do you guys get your ideas, your inspiration for belts from? Where do you look? Like video games was one source we talked about. Ben says awesome belt brothers.
Thank you, Ben.
I just looked online at different belts and I started to draw like the one. So this Canadian one, me and Arham, I drew it out on a piece of paper. We had a video call as I was drawing it, and I was like, I want this here, and then so he would send me the artwork back. And yeah, so
nice.
It just comes from my head. Some of it comes from looking at other belts. Like obviously, I did a custom belt for a local wrestling promotion here.
Right on. Yeah,
the provincial champion.
So taking some inspiration from the NWA World Championship.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do with it, because that was an iconic belt, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that. Right on. So same with the.
Are they 100K? LOL. Ben asks.
Then I created their heavyweight title.
Right, and the Kaizen has taken some inspiration from the current. What's that? Rev Pro, English Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And big Man Up's got sort of a newer version of the. Is it a bit of the Big Eagle with some of the contemporary sort of the logo belt as well? Nice.
Yep. See, I see. The one thing about it is, like you said, you gotta have. Okay, I got tired before I started collecting my first belt. I used to watch a lot of people unbox their belts. And everybody was unboxing the same belt over and over and over.
Ben says y'all are showing off.
But I got to the point to where I was like, show something different, Do anybody have their own ideas? So when I started collecting belts, I just, like I said, I was just throwing all of my ideas at Jaguar at once. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I will admit, when I first started collecting, I went a little crazy. I got like maybe 20. No, I ain't gonna say 20. I say like 15 belts in 1 year, because my mind was just going. You gotta, you got to imagination. There we go.
Man, when you first get in this hobby and you realize this is an option, it's like, ooh, that's there's a laundry list. Everybody's got their holy grails they want to get on right away, right?
The list. This one right here. This one. Athena loved them belts.
Scott loves that Big Eagle hybrid. Man Up, he says.
Oh, I got it over there. But this one here, because the Big Eagle is my favorite belt, and y'all know this is the shape design of the current WWE title.
Yeah.
Of course, I got the Big Eagle, with the sunburst behind. I don't know if y'all can see that nugget texture back there.
Nice, very nice.
And then, of course, the network logo, big WWE, with the stones around it. So, just a 3-plated belt, but it's a nice belt.
It's nice.
But yeah, you just gotta throw your ideas out there, man. Take your time, draw something up. Brain freeze. Tony, there we go. Damn, brain freeze again. Like Tony said, he drew something up. He sent it to his maker. Maker sent him back to artwork, and he approved it. That's all we got to do. Just take your time, man. Take your time.
North City said, talking about 1,100K, got annoyed this week in another group in a post where the comments all are saying belts should be $100 or less. I don't know how that's even possible to happen. When you look at just the cost of materials, and you think about the cost of leather, think about the cost of zinc, think about the cost of the acid, the paint, the stones, the labor. I don't know how anybody could make a belt for that little. Honestly, I don't even think that's possible. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what people are thinking when they're trying to get those prices down that low, because you're kind of asking for it when you start trying to lowball makers that badly.
It's true.
And the only way you're gonna get a belt like that, thank you, there, Scott. The only way you're gonna get a belt like that is not gonna be top quality.
And we talked about it. We touched on. I don't want to get into negative stuff too much, but I will say this: I think that we're shooting ourselves in the foot as collectors when we start lowballing makers that badly, because they can't make profit when the prices are that low based on cost of materials and things like that. You're kind of opening the market for scammers. You're opening the market for people that are going to make their job is not to make belts. Their job is to screw you over and steal from you, because they're not going to make enough of a profit on the cost of belts and on the cost of selling their goods to make it worth their while. So of course they're gonna be ripping you off, and they're gonna be stealing from you. It benefits us as buyers to keep the cost of belts in a realistic. Now, again, I'm not saying people need to go out and spend $1,500 on a belt, but if you got to take into account the cost of materials and cost of labor and the cost of what it costs to make a belt, and if you're getting people to produce these kind of quality belts with that kind of cost, you're asking for it. You're creating a market where you're going to have more scammers, you're going to have more people ripping you off, and you're going to have more problems. I think the way we've been pushing the prices and trying to get stuff lower and lower and lower and lower and lower is why we're seeing an increase in scamming and people pulling the stuff overseas. Something to think about, something to consider, that maybe we as buyers are contributing to that as well.
Yeah,
could be.
For good quality and great products, you're going to spend at least $400. Yeah, I mean I think there's a margin there. I think there's a margin of cost. It can go both ways. People can charge too much for what it's worth as well. There's definitely that whole brand sort of value, and certain belts and certain makers charge more than others, and it's up to the buyer if they want to buy that or not. It depends on what you want to prioritize and what's important to you in terms of quality. But I do think that when we start pushing the market below what's reasonable to manufacture, we're kind of getting ourselves in trouble. One last question about customs for both of y'all. What belts do you guys? Any sort of hints on what you're thinking about customizing going forward? I know nobody wants to kind of give their ideas away, because you don't want other people to sort of get out there and make that stuff. But do you have like a list of belts that you've seen that you thought, I think I'd like to turn that into something, without giving away too many details?
Yeah, I'm getting one more belt that it's a normal looking belt, but I'm changing it up a little bit. I'll put it like that. I'm just putting my own little spin on it, so I'm getting one more coming.
Sweet. What about you, Tony? Any more customs coming?
No more.
You're sticking to the
collecting. So, like I said, I got a re-leather I'm getting done.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh, sorry. The Pakistan channel just sort of got in on our feed somehow. Sorry about that.
No, I probably have about 10 or 12 more belts I want to get, and that'll be me done.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Right on. Most of his belts, most of Scott's belts I have are from 200 to 800 between my used shop and some of my rare figs, and including my maker belts. Yeah. Right on. Cool. All right, gentlemen, I think it's time to move on to the quiz of the week. All right, this well-known wrestler, let me just get rid of our banner here so you guys can see everything. This very well-known and very well-traveled wrestler. I picked this particular wrestler in honor of Mr. Man Up this evening. This wrestler is billed from and hails from Man Up's hometown, but he is not originally from there. Little known fact, this gentleman is billed from Houston, Texas, but he was born in Louisiana. So I'm wondering if anybody in the chat wants to throw an answer out and see if they can guess who this might be. Joey Gray. It's Booker T, sucker. Cedric says Booker T. What do you guys think?
That was funny. Booker T, sucker.
Booker T, sucker.
That was funny.
Awesome.
You are absolutely 100% correct, Mr. Joey Gray, Mr. Cedric, and Mr. Scott. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you. You are correct. Yes, of course. Can you dig it? It is Mr. Booker T. What a list of belts, man. Look at the belts this guy carried over his career. Who knew?
Yeah, he was born in Louisiana, but I think he said he was 5 years old when he moved to Houston.
All hail King Booker. Booker. Mr. Booker T. Man, I tell you, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, when I first saw him in WCW, and I think he was a television champion. And did he wear the TV title? No. Yeah, he was TV champ. There was something about him that I liked, and I just thought he kind of, him and The Rock were very similar. But I didn't I didn't really like The Rock. I didn't like The Rock's character that much. But I like Booker T because Booker T I didn't find him as annoying.
Man, I loved Booker T when he was tagging with his brother in Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
I loved him even back then in the early WCW days. Loved Harlem Heat. Thought they were one of the best tag teams. Yeah. And then I know people don't like to talk about Chris Benoit because of the circumstance of what happened with his family. But that television title best of series that he did and we got to see a different side of Booker T. We started to see Booker T, the technical wrestler. Man, that changed the whole landscape for me with Booker T. And also he was the final WCW, the final genuine WCW champion. So I mean, he's had quite a storied career and pretty impressive. And when you look at this list of championships, you really understand how much he accomplished in his career.
I think it's more impressive if you know exactly where he came from, his troubled background, to his successful career. Mm-hmm. So I think that's more impressive that he turned things around.
And not only a successful career, but to have aged as well as he has in the business, to be able to to transition into the podcasting, transition into running his own wrestling school and his own federation that he promotes himself, and to still have such good ties with the WWF, despite having gone to TNA and a few other wrestling companies along the way, I think is a testament to how not only how smart a wrestler and a performer he is, but how smart of a businessman he is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It showed that he was a good book and could pull his weight and be the face of the company. Absolutely, yeah. No, and it was. I mean, he became world champion because of that best of 7 with Benoit. I mean, it clearly showed he could carry it. So yeah, hell of a wrestler, Mr. Booker T. Yep. Big fan, big fan. All right, I'm just gonna quickly, guys, go over. We just finished up our 7th match, I believe, of the Intercontinental Friday Fantasy Tournament. We had Bret the Hitman Hart going up against Razor Ramon. Woo! For those that are watching, we have a Friday Fantasy booking series that we do every week, where you guys, members of the CBC group, get to vote on your favorite wrestler on any given Friday, and you are helping us essentially book this tournament and decide who will be the grand winner at the very end of all of this. This past Friday, we had Bret Hitman Hart going up against Razor Ramon. Bret Hart did an amazing job blowing Razor Ramon right out of the water with 90% of the votes. So that wasn't even close. So far we are now, Bret is the first of the semifinals, the first one to lock in a spot here at the semifinals. Our next matchup is actually going to feature Randy Macho Man Savage going up against Owen Hart. Randy got past Y2J to earn that spot, and Owen got past the Honky Tonk Man to earn his spot. So this Friday in matchup number 8, we have Macho Man going up against Owen Hart. Yeah, guys, what do you think? This is a tough one for me, man. I love it, man. but I'm Canadian and it's Owen Hart. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. I'm worried I'm going to lose my citizenship if I don't vote for Owen. But man, how do you vote against Macho Man? Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this?
I'm gonna give it to my tag team partner because he's a big Macho Man fan. So I'm gonna say Macho Man.
Macho Man, fair enough. What do you think, Tony?
Man, this could be a final. Like, it's two awesome guys, two awesome wrestlers.
Scott's hoping for Hart versus Hart in the finals.
Yeah,
maybe it's possible.
Honestly, like, I want to vote Owen. My heart, no pun intended, is with Owen. But how can you not go for Macho Man? One of the
greatest. It's so hard, right? And none of these matchups, if you go back and look at the brackets, none of this is getting easier. We got Eddie Guerrero against Mr. Perfect coming up next.
Oh man.
Right? Like, and then after that, depending on who wins, we either got Macho Man against Bret Hart, or we've got Owen Hart against Bret Hart. And then we've got Mr. Perfect or Eddie Guerrero going up against our wild card spot, which could be anyone that was eliminated in the first round of the tournament. So it could be either Eddie Guerrero or Mr. Perfect going up against Rick Rude, The Miz, Shawn Michaels, Y2J, the Honky Tonk Man, or Gunther.
Yeah.
So some tough votes coming up in the next couple of weeks for sure.
Man.
Yeah. So if you're into fantasy tournaments and you want to take part, don't miss Friday with the votes. It's we're having a great time with it, and y'all better vote Honky Tonk Man better back in. That's what Joey said. Joey's a little salty about Honky Tonk Man getting the boot early. All right, man. Nice, awesome. So I think we're at that time, Tony, where it's time to feature a collectible of the week.
So.
All right, my friend, who you got for us this week?
So it is another custom that I made, and I'm going to show you. First, I'm going to show you the guy that I made. He is still alive in the tournament. It is Mr. Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Intercontinental title.
Man, that face sculpt is killer.
Yeah, you can see around the neck where I've attached the body, where it's a bit beat up. It was a Tito Santana. And the head.
Man, I would never have known that if you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, so the head is epoxy holding on this head that was created from, I think, I don't know what figure he was created from, but anyways, and they made him to the LJN size. So I've created Mr. Perfect with the IC title, and he sits usually right up here behind me for most shows. So he's still around in the contest in the Intercontinental thing. So that's who I'm picking there. Mr.
Love it. Love it. Nice. You are you a collector yourself, Man Up? Do you have any collectibles outside of belts? Obviously, big fan of. Do you have any other things you like to collect?
Yeah, I got plenty of collectibles. I have figures. I have a cane mask. I have.
Nice.
I'm gonna show you one that's kind of rare. 1 second.
I'd love to see that.
WrestleMania 39 helmet.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Yep. Got this. My wife got this for me from the WWE shop.
Wow.
But yeah, as you could probably see, I'm trying to point right here. I got the hanger, WWE hanger right there.
Right on.
As you can see. Yeah, I collect figures and stuff too. But yeah,
that's awesome.
I want to show y'all this helmet.
That is awesome. Love it. Love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool, guys. That was everything I wanted to cover tonight. I thought I'd just turn it over to the audience and let them ask us a few questions if they wanted to. Guys, if there's anything you wanted to talk about with what's going on in wrestling lately, or what do you think about wrestling lately, or belts, or the collecting hobby, or collecting in general, we'd be happy to answer anything or talk about anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up for the night.
I got a question for you, Man Up. Okay. How long have you been collecting belts?
I think I started. No, matter of fact, I did start. Okay, let me clarify something. Okay.
Yeah.
My very first belt was back in 2009. I went to a live event and I bought the toy version of the John Cena spinner.
Nice.
Now, I ended up losing that belt, but my wife told me I gave it to one of my nephews, so I just don't remember doing that. But if I did, I did. So I didn't really get any new belts for you, Man Up. Yeah, like I said, I got one belt coming. It's a traditional belt, but I put my own little spin on it. So y'all see it pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna do a review on our channel. But I really started collecting in mid 2019.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it was 2019 Father's Day was the first one for me.
Okay.
Right on. And was that the Winged Eagle?
Yeah.
Right on.
It literally sits right here because I'm cleaning up this room. This is, if you saw how thin this winged eagle is, you'd be blown away. It's like paper thin. But it was my first belt, so I'm never getting rid of it. It actually made me cry. So I wanted one since I was a kid. I'm gonna actually show you guys. So you guys just talk amongst yourself 1 sec.
Right on. Right on. So who was the first maker you landed with, Man Up? Like, because probably Jagu somebody you sort of discovered as you went, or were you lucky enough to find him right away?
Well, I got my first belt on eBay.
Okay.
So it wasn't no maker at all. But that was it was a blue big eagle. I will admit the quality was crap, but at that time I was brand new, so I didn't know much about the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody had left me a comment on one of my videos, told me to go to Jagu, and been going to Jagu ever since.
Nice, because once you find what you like, there's no reason to change. So,
and I started with Jagu. It was like maybe March of 2020 because I remember messaging him. I said, "Are you still making belts during this pandemic?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, cool."
Right on.
And my hybrid Big Eagle was the first belt he ever made for me.
Nice. And did you meet your tag team partners through Jagu and through the Jagu belt group, Joey and Cedric?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
I met Joey through there. Me and Joey was online talking one day, and Cedric made a comment. He said, "Guys, it ain't nothing but leather, metal, and paint." I love that comment so much. I invited him to come in with us, and we started talking.
Right.
And we've been a team ever since.
Nice. Scott says he started a year ago in April, started with the 1998 WCW Big Gold, and last belt I bought was a scratch logo WWE Big Gold that I had made. I have 16 belts now. Right on.
I have 25. Right, I have 25.
Right on. Nice.
So I'm going to show you guys something that I got way back. And these were my first belts.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those. I remember those foam belts.
Yeah.
Order it through a
those
magazine.
Are awesome.
I remember that.
I got this at a house show in British Columbia, and I cannot remember the heavyweight title my brother had. So I had to get this title, right? I had to get this because he had the heavyweight title. I wanted the Intercontinental. And then the next time I went, I got the tag titles. And I have the other one over there somewhere. So I actually have 3 of these tag titles. And I two of these foam Intercontinentals because a buddy of mine, he gave me a bunch of his stuff. So I got an extra tag title and an extra Intercontinental out of it. So,
that is those are sick.
Two were my first. And my very first one was the plastic one that looked just like the Hogan 85 and it had a dial on the front. And it would be a picture of the belt. And then when you took the dial, it was a picture of Hogan flexing with the belt. It was awesome.
Oh,
it was
nice. So cool. Those are hard to find, man. That's a great collectible to have.
I remember those. Seeing those, you can order through a magazine back in the day. I remember those. Those were sweet.
Nice. Right on. Well, guys, that's it tonight. We covered everything we were going to cover. Man Up, man. You've been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on tonight and hanging out with us. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate both of y'all.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really happy you could make it on, and you guys have a good show going over there too. So it was kind of
nice. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your podcast and where they can find you?
Well, myself, Cedric, and Joey, we have a show called Bells and Belts. We no longer call it Bells and Belts Podcast. We just call it Bells and Belts because we have evolved the show a little bit. But you can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. is called Bells and Bells. And excuse me, sorry. And we basically, give our thoughts on the world of wrestling. We show off our belts. We go to live events. I mean, we do a whole bunch of different stuff pertaining to wrestling. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and subscribe to us on Facebook and on YouTube. There are perks for joining one versus the other. So I would suggest that you should subscribe to us on both.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a great show. I've had the pleasure and the honor of being on there a few times. Actually going to be on there live with them this Wednesday evening. So come hang out with us all over there on Wednesday night. There we go. My good friend Joey letting us know. It's a great show. They really get into the sort of the not only current wrestling, but the history of wrestling. And it's really educational program as well, because they talk a lot about the territories, talk a lot about the history of wrestling. It's a great show if you're into that. And if you like new stuff, they talk about what's going on in wrestling now as well. So they really cover the whole gamut. So it's a great show. Very different from what we do here, but awesome. What a great show. So we really...
Hey, no, y'all make sure y'all join Champion Belt Club as well.
Yeah, hang out with us. We're going to be here on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. There you go. Leave it better than you found it, Mr. Ben Walker. Never better words were said than that. So
I like Ben Walker. I met him for the first time about a few months ago. Me and him been cool ever since. Acting a fool ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had our three-year Facebook friend anniversary, me and Ben.
There you go.
To the picture just the other day.
That's history, man. That's history. But we really appreciate everybody hanging out with us, man. The last couple of weeks, the amount of support we've been getting from everybody here in a group and everybody that's been watching, it's been amazing. And we couldn't do this without you guys, and we really appreciate and love having you guys here with us on Monday nights to hang out. And thank you again to Man Up for joining us tonight. Thanks again to my partner Tony Thorpe. I couldn't do this without him, and I'm really glad to have him here with me. Love you guys and love the hobby. Much love and respect. Love and respect to you too, Scott. We really appreciate all of y'all.
Love and peace and happiness.
Yeah, it's all about belts and brotherhood. So we love to share that, and we love to have people on. We're going to continue to feature people from the hobby, continue to feature people from the group, and just try to highlight the very best parts of this amazing hobby that we all enjoy and love so much. So with that being said, hope you all have a fantastic night and a fantastic week. We wish you love and happiness and health, good health, and we'll catch you next Monday.
Peace.
Peace.